time today going through scripts, and we're going to spend a good amount of time today. Okay, I think we're all good.
Bill, do you want this on Facebook?
Have other people's been putting it on Facebook or no?
No,
Nah, that's okay. I'll be normal.
because we normally record it and put it over on the YouTube channel.
All right, perfect. I'm comfortable with that. Thank you, Mel.
You're welcome. Thank you, darling.
Famous Melody. Hardest worker in the building. Okay. So I want you to take an opportunity to study these scripts, to internalize them, and even if you never plan to call an expired or for sale by owner, to be able to go to kind of your toolbox, so to speak, to access these scripts and to use them to get the information you need about motivation from your sellers. It's going to be hugely helpful. All right, I'm going to ask you for a kind favor, okay? This is a video platform. Who's going to show me their face? Zoom is a video platform.
As soon as I finish eating my sandwich for lunch,
okay. Let me see your faces, not just your black boxes with your first name on it. Thank you, Nikki. Okay. Let's start by talking a little bit about what have we learned from, we're on session 8. So we've had 14 hours of this stuff where our leaders have prepared these presentations, have gone through 80 pages, and we're working really hard to make sure we deliver the content to you guys. And I want to hear what adjustments you have made in your schedule or in your priorities or in your goals or in your mindset. How has business changed for you since we started this? Have we adopted a 3-hour lead generation commitment? Are we almost there? Are we coming to class to avoid the phone? Is this helpful?
I'm
Walk
almost
us through
there.
what we've learned.
I'm almost there doing the lead, but for the most part, I say I do some preparations at night when I get off my regular job. And then I haven't gotten outside to do much with interacting with people just yet.
Okay, so if I were to follow you around, if I were to have followed you around over the last 24 hours, would I know that you have a 3-hour commitment to lead generating?
Probably not.
Okay, do I have your permission to be blunt?
Sure.
When is that going to start?
I'm hoping tomorrow.
Okay, do you intend for it to be tomorrow, or are you kind of hoping?
No, my goal is for it to be tomorrow. I want to go out and door knock at my neighborhood tomorrow.
Okay, okay, beautiful. So please, guys, this business is simple. It's just not easy. Okay, we've got to commit. This is for your sake. This is so you can have an awesome quality of life and you don't have to think about money and you can help a lot of families. Okay, there's never been an appointment without first having a conversation about the appointment, and there's never been a closing without having an appointment first. Okay, the name of the game is contacts.
I can't.
If you don't like doing FSBOs and for sale by owner or expired listings, fine. But I'm going to ask you a very direct question. Do you currently have all the appointments that you need to hit your financial goals? If the answer to that is no, something's got to change.
So mine is no, and things have to change.
Okay. So my advice to you is the thing that's probably going to be that needs the most attention right now is your calendar. And I'm not directing it just at you, Nikki. If you don't have 3 hours in your calendar blocked, there's virtually no chance you're doing this.
Right.
Okay. So we've got to take control of our calendar. We've got to manage our time better, because what if your future buyer or your future seller got an opportunity to watch you for an hour be a realtor? Would they be impressed with the time you woke up? Would they be impressed with your workspace? Would they be impressed with your market knowledge? Would they be impressed with your calendar?
They would probably run.
Okay. So I want you to ask yourself, again, this is not a place of judgment.
Right.
This is a place of improvement. So what are we doing every day to improve our skill, to improve our neighborhood acumen, to improve our systems and scripts and professionalism? Okay. Don't just come to these classes to get entertained.
Right.
I want you to leave this class with a commitment. We're 7 sessions in, and we haven't developed the habit.
Right. Well, I spoke with Diane. When I met with her, she kind of showed me how to get onto the Google Drive so that I can take my time and learn things. Because at first I was just running the class and not knowing what to do. But
Yep.
once I spoke with her, she kind of helped me out. So I'm taking it slow and get things prepared.
Okay, well, look, I mean, we have almost all PC people on here. This is a class about, this is a little different, right? I'm teaching this on behalf of the Market Center. So this is a class about how to get to 36 units. If you want to get to anywhere close to 36 units, you're going to have to be intentional about lead generation. There has never been a realtor to come anywhere close without intentionally lead generating every day. Okay.
Right.
All right. Today we are going to please be respectful of each other. We're going to respect confidentiality. Please focus with me today. Limit the side conversations. You guys are on time. Thank you. If you got any questions, please type them in the chat, and at a variety of times during the presentation. Hey, I lost my my chat guy. Tony, keep an eye on the chat for me, okay? All right, this is where we are. We started with the power of one, intentionality and goal setting. Then we built our validity and positioning. We are building the foundation of our business through marketing and prospecting and building a database. For those agents that do not have a database in place, that is your business, okay? Your database. So if you don't have it organized and put into command or whatever system you want to use, please don't let any more time go by without you doing that. Okay, that is your business. Okay, your people are, if you're not communicating with them systematically and regularly, they are out in the world where other realtors are, who might be more aggressive, more assertive, and more helpful than you, and they will earn the business, the same business you think you're going to get. Okay, so our job is to deliver as much value as possible. Now, the size of our database, what we know from Gary's research is for every 16 contacts you have in your database that you properly communicate with systematically over the course of the year, you should have one closing. So if you have a database of 45 people, yet you intend to do 20 closings in a year, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to grow the database. You're going to have to grow the database. Okay. So I got to ask yourself, 36 times 16, that's 576. If you don't have 576 people in your database, you're probably not going to sell 36 properties. Okay. So we need to have a commitment every day of growing the database. A great way to grow the database is for sale by owners and expired listings. Somebody has said to me in the past, do I have to call for sale by owners? And there was an email that was sent out to everyone, Venus, regarding the slides. If not, you just watch me here and you can get them afterwards, okay? If you don't want to call for sale by owners, my response to that is fine. How you doing? Do you have enough appointments to hit your financial goals? If the answer to that is no, then I'm going to encourage you to give it a shot. Okay. If you're booking enough appointments and you don't have any financial struggles, you don't have any conversion rate struggles, if your database is 576 plus and it's spitting out enough appointments for you without having to call expireds, fine. But if not, and there's not many people who I think are, then I'm going to encourage you to be open-minded to this strategy. Fair enough?
Yes. So
after we've built our database here, we're going to start working with METs, farming, and these are additional ways to create those appointments, right? Open houses, for sale by owners and expireds. Next Monday, we'll talk about agent referrals and then lead conversion. And then finally, Aubrey will wrap us up with living your goals. Okay?
Okay.
All right. All right. I am on page 6 of this material right here. Okay, that's the material that was emailed out to everybody. All right, page 6. let's read this little phrase from Gene Rivers, okay? He says that he finds that prospecting to for sale by owners, we're going to start with for sale by owners, helps him grow his business. In the spring of 2007, his listing specialists were actively pursuing 120 for sale by owners. For sale by owners and expired accounted for approximately 10% of his business, with approximately one closing every week. This is a great way to stay in touch with a lot of prospects because he follows the model. Gene's success comes in large part from helping for sale by owners with their problems. For sale by owners are motivated sellers. They just have a problem, which is they don't have the consultation of a full-time real estate agent that knows how to guide them through the process. That's the power of being disciplined in lead generation. It's following a system and using the effective prospecting strategies. When he spoke with us last week on the listing clinic, who did he say generally gets the business for sale by owners? What two qualities were your for sale by owners looking for ultimately when they hired an agent? You guys remember?
I wasn't.
Someone they like.
The most helpful and the most persistent. The most helpful and the most persistent. Okay. Let's just take a quick break and talk a little bit about when it comes to for sale by owners. I mean, I'm planning on following the script, but I can also ping pong a little bit. What are you hoping to learn today? What are you hoping to learn today?
Places to, finding out how to identify them, learning what typically are issues that they're looking at that have them concerned, that have them wanting to sell their home on their own, how to best approach them, and, also how much contact and how often you need to approach them, whatever approaches you tend to use to be effective in terms of turning them into, in terms of seller clients, listing clients.
All right, great questions. Keep an eye on that list and make sure that all that stuff is addressed today, okay?
And also how to handle their objections.
Yep, we're going to get to that. What else?
Mine is the mark of the moment. The for sale by owners I encountered in the most recent past, they are selling themselves. So how do you either persuade them or just move on to the next one? Persuade them that they can get better outcome and more money working with you.
Okay. Anything else? All right, let's get started. Page 9. A for sale by owner is a homeowner who chooses to sell a home without the assistance of a real estate professional. Most often, these sellers are motivated by the lure of netting more money in the transaction. Many agents rush to the conclusion that somebody who is trying to sell their home on their own just isn't interested in working with an agent. Myth number 1, FSBOs don't want to deal with a real estate agent. The truth is only about 8% of for sale by owners say they don't want to deal with an agent. Their issue is it's not that they don't want to deal with an agent, it's just they believe that they'll net less money if they do. Does that make sense?
And is it also that they want to deal with a buyer's agent, not a selling agent?
I don't know that they are necessarily seeking to work with a buyer's agent.
Okay.
Oftentimes, they don't even know the difference, right?
Ah, okay.
Okay, so for example, they might use phrases like agents protected or will pay agent's fee, something of that nature. What sometimes they might not understand is that they're essentially paying a professional agent to negotiate against them.
Right.
Right?
Buyer's agent.
So if they're unwilling to pay a buyer's agent commission, they can pretty much forget about selling their house. Okay? Because no professional is going to be involved unless they're paid, right? So
Right.
if you call a for sale by owner and they say, no, I'm not paying any commissions,
Keep rolling.
yeah, keep rolling, because they're also not going to be selling their house.
Gotcha.
Unless they sell it. They're going to get crushed is what's going to happen, is that they're only going to be interested in talking to an investor, and the investor's going to eat them alive. Okay. So the commission discussion is not a 6% discussion generally, it's only half. right? Because they're going to probably be willing to pay a buyer's agent. The question is if they're doing all this stuff to save on the listing agent commission. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, let's first discuss mindset, page 11. Many for sale by owners are trying to save money by not paying a listing agent's commission, while other FSBOs had a bad experience with an agent. Whatever their reasons are, they're a good source for leads because you know they're serious about selling their home. Okay, the most common reason homeowners try to sell their home without an agent is they don't want to pay a commission. They believe this will allow them to net more money. Demonstrating that you can allow homeowners to net the amount they need to make is a good strategy for gaining business from the other 51% of FSBOs. An important point to remember is that FSBOs are motivated sellers. They've essentially raised their hand and said, I need to sell this house. Okay. We're going to quickly talk, we're kind of going through some of the kind of overview, and then we'll go back into some beliefs, okay? We're going to do some definition stuff for a moment. Expired listings, I'm on page 13. An expired listing is one that did not sell during its initial listing period. In most cases, the owners remain interested in selling, although those who have had their house on the market for a long time may be tired and frustrated and be interested in taking a break. Okay. This is not a PC drive kind of thing, Venus. This is 3612.3 from the office. So hang tight. If anybody has, does anyone have the handouts for today that they could post on the chat? Okay, thank you. It is wise to find out why a homeowner thinks their home did not sell. It is possible that the homeowner bears this share of the responsibility for a lack of the sale, or bears responsibility for the lack of the sale rather than the agent. The homeowner may be clinging to an unrealistic idea of what the house is worth, or the owner may be unwilling to adequately price the home so it looks good to potential buyers. Whatever the case is, you need to know why the owner thinks the house did not sell in order to determine whether this is a person you even want as a customer. Okay. In addition, if you want the listing, meaning you are in control, the need to be able to describe how you will do things differently from the previous agent is important. One potential advantage of expired listings over for sale by owners is that the owners have already indicated they need to sell and they're willing to pay a commission. FSBOs you're going to have to talk to about paying a commission. Expired listings, they've already agreed to pay it when the home was formally listed. And a withdrawn listing, which we'll talk about briefly today, is a home that was pulled from the market during the listing period, before the listing contract expires. If you go back into the system earlier this year, you tended to see some of that stuff around COVID because people didn't want people to come in their home. They were, I don't want to say paranoid as if it's not a big deal. Clearly it's a big deal, but they have concerns over COVID. Okay, you got to remember that there's basically three types of people out there right now. The first type of people basically are completely paralyzed. They're not leaving their house. They're not going to let anyone in their house. They're not going to go in anyone's house. I mean no judgment here, but there's people who basically are paralyzed and they're not even going to see the light of day until the vaccine comes out and everyone seems to be okay. Okay. I believe that's a relatively small group, but they're out there. And if you happen to be speaking to them, you need to be respectful of the way they feel. The other group is the group that's got their masks on and they're probably going to get vaccinated and they're doing their best to be healthy or safe, yet they are taking appropriate precautions. Okay. And then you got a third group who basically thinks it's all a hoax. Okay. So we got to make sure that we are respectful to these three types of people. And even if we think it's weird or unusual, that we understand how to best serve these people. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. I'm on to page 14. Why will a home not sell?
Price, condition.
Yep. And is there another one?
Condition of the property.
Yep. Anything else?
No advertisement.
No.
Thank you, Donna. Okay, you guys hit it well. The three reasons. Number one, it's overpriced. Number two, poor condition. Number three, lack of marketing or not marketed well. With expired and withdrawn listings, the homeowners are often more motivated than they were the first time, right? What's the line? Is anyone on the call that might be able to help me with this? Lawanda, you may have heard this, or Julian. They say it's best to be the firstborn, the second wife, and the third realtor, right?
Why
If-
the firstborn, the
All
second?
true but cold.
What's that?
Why the firstborn, the second wife, and the third realtor?
Well, the firstborn is I don't want to get too controversial, but the point of the matter is that by the time the third realtor's around, that sellers figured out what the market's going to do, and they're just ready to price the home generally where it needs to be priced, right? Maybe the second wife comes around, the husband's already realized how not to behave, right? Okay. Hopefully that's as controversial
I like that saying.
as I'll get today, okay? All right, let's talk about limiting beliefs. Part of the reason that I'm on page 17. Part of the reason that many agents, there we go. Okay, part of the reason that many agents mistakenly believe that the only approach to working with for sale by owners and expired listings is to call them first thing in the morning and aggressively pressure them into listing with you. Many agents shy away from that kind of forceful prospecting and still find ample success. That's what we were talking about earlier. There's no mandate that you do this. It's just another way of finding opportunities, okay? Myth number 2, you can only succeed with FSBOs and expireds and withdrawns by being aggressive and direct. No, the truth is you can win with FSBOs and expired and withdrawn listings by coming from contribution, establishing trust, and staying in touch, right? When you call FSBOs and expireds, don't try to sell the owners, okay, on reasons why they should list with you. All you really need to do is get the appointment, okay? Ask, how can I help you? And tell the seller how meeting with you, or tell the seller how you can meet their needs that they express to you, and then ask for the appointment, okay? We've discussed one of my favorite scripts of all times, which is, anyone want to tell me what it is? Was it Darlene?
Sounds like we should meet.
That's exactly right. Hey, your home still available? Yes, it is. Great. Sounds like we should meet. Trying to sell the home by yourself? Great. Sounds like we should meet. You have a goal to move to Chicago to be closer to your grandkids? Great. Sounds like we should meet. We want to push for the appointment as quickly as we can. You're not going to sell a FSBO over the phone. And most likely you're not going to sell an expired over the phone either. Get in front of them as fast as you can, okay? Now, does everyone want to practice that script? Great, sounds like we should meet. Ebony, go for it, come on. Let's have some fun.
Hey, sounds like we should be.
All right, say that.
Go through the whole thing. I'm ready.
All right, page 19, efficiencies and similarities, okay? It is hard to imagine, for example, how you could use your time more efficiently than by picking up the phone, okay? FSBOs and expired listings are business-ready leads. These are people who want to sell a house and they announce it to the world one way or the other. Number 2, most agents prospect each group in a similar fashion, calling them during their daily lead generation time. Number 3, you have solutions to their problems, okay? We get paid to solve problems. That's what we get paid to do. We solve problems. Somebody can't find a home on their own, can't deal with the paperwork on their own, can't put it all together. That's what we get paid to do. Okay, you can help them sell, hold open houses, or find qualified buyers. You can also save them time, price a house to sell, reduce their hassles by handling the administrative work, and negotiate to get the best possible deal for them. Okay, the reasons to pursue for sale by owners and expired listings. Number 1, page 20, it takes little time. Okay, many of the agents on here are relatively new business owners. It takes little time. Okay, it takes little money. Okay, they're easy to find and they're motivated to sell. Okay, now you guys talked a little bit about, we'll cover it here in just a second, but I'll throw, I think we're going to talk about this in a little while, but don't forget about dialers. Okay. What I have found in general prospecting is that a pretty typical agent is probably going to be able to talk if they're manually dialing for sale by owners and expired listings, assuming the data is like right there in front of them, they're probably going to have 7 to 8 contacts per hour. If you're on a dialer, you're probably going to have double that. Okay. And by the way, if you are like looking up FMLS and then looking up the do not call list and then searching it on Zillow and then looking in the tax records and spending all your time researching, and 30 minutes later you muscle the courage to make the call and then it's a bad number anyway, what a giant waste of time. Just make the call. Okay. All the good stuff's going to happen at the appointment anyway. Okay. So I would if you want to make a business out of this, highly recommend that you consider investing in a dialer and definitely a data source, whether it be Vulcan 7 or one of the other data sources for sale by owners and expired listings. They've already done all the pooling of the data. They've already scrubbed it for the do not call list. You simply have to make the calls. Okay. Make sense?
What was the data source again, Bill, that you mentioned?
Vulcan 7 is probably my favorite. VULCAN, the number 7.com.
Over RedX?
That is my experience. That's my experience. RedX is another one. Landvoice is another one. I have in my research, I think many of you guys know that this is a tool that's offered for free within productivity coaching. It's about $350 a month. Okay, so we're talking about $5,000, $5,500 or so for an investment like this over the course of a year. If you were to, I'm sorry, not quite that much. What would that be? 350 times 12, $4,200 investment. I mean, are you going to get one piece of business from it? Probably, if you use the service. So is it a good investment? Yeah, but free is even better. Okay. A dialer is, if you do a triple line dialer, you're probably about $120 to $130 a month. Okay. And my favorite dialer there is Mojo Dialers. It's mojosells.com. Okay. Okay. Let's move on to page 21. Remember, all you got your time and your money. When you identify an issue, right, you got to say to yourself, am I going to use my time to address this challenge, or am I going to use my money to address this challenge, right? If I'm trying to save money, and time is money to some degree, right? But I don't want to spend 30 minutes looking up each name and number when I can subscribe to a service that'll send it to me like that. But I also want you to lead with revenue. Okay? How do we win with for sale by owners and expired and withdrawn listings? Ways to win are we get the listing. We could find a buyer for the house, right? And get paid. We can help the seller buy a new property. We can refer the seller to another agent if they're moving out of town. Hey, I'm trying to sell this home in Roswell by myself, and then I'm moving to St. Louis. Great, let me ask you, are you going to be working with an agent in St. Louis? Or do you already have a relationship with an agent in St. Louis that's going to help you buy up there? No? Great. For free, no obligation whatsoever. Would you like me to introduce you to an agent? You can receive a referral fee. Okay, meet the potential buyer and seller customers by offering to host an open house. Offer to host an open house for the FSBO. Hey, I'd like to put this on social media. I'd be happy to host an open house for you. You can have the Sunday off. Would that be helpful? Yeah. Remember, they hire the person that's the most helpful. Okay. Number 6, help the seller write up business if the seller finds a buyer for a commission. I'm not crazy about that one, but I have done it before, right? Where you essentially function as a transaction broker, and they have an unrepresented buyer comes around, which also isn't so common, and they call you and say, hey, Donna, can you do all the paperwork for me? And you say, I could, and that'll cost you X number of dollars. Okay. Here's a couple of approaches when we're dealing with for sale by owners. Okay. On page 22, Diana Kokoska, former CEO of KW Maps Coaching, preferred a direct approach. Be honest and straightforward with the people she feels, and they will learn to trust you. First, however, she will ask the seller, ask for permission. Do you want me to be honest with you? Most people say yes, and so she grants their wish, right? Um, call them first and call them often. Very aggressive approach. Her response after getting the permission to be honest was to say, you know, some people say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting different results. I'm not a big fan of that line either. So I'm curious, what is your agent going to do this time that they didn't do last time? That's, for example, when a for sale or when an expired listing is considered hiring the same agent again. Okay, I hear that. So just out of curiosity, which is kind of a delicate way of saying, I'm about to tell you something that's going to hurt a little bit. As Andy would say, I'm going to stab you in the front, right? So I'm curious, what is your agent going to do this time that they didn't do last time? Okay. You know, if the seller said that they were thinking about interviewing other agents, she would say, great, because she was there and ready to be interviewed. If they had said they had already chosen an agent, she'd say, great, but if your doctor told you you need surgery, wouldn't you want a second opinion? Right? Let's get together tonight and I'll give you a second opinion. Right? If she didn't get the appointment the first time around, Diana would continue to contact these potential customers until she did, or until they told her to stop. Okay? Here's an indirect approach. This is from a woman named Jean Grubb out of Austin many years ago. Okay? Step 1, page 23. Step 1, make an appointment to preview the house. Step 2, preview the house, and while doing so, look for something she could help out with later. Number 3, write a note thanking the owner for allowing her to preview the home. Number 4, act on the information she gathered. And number 2, and provide some form of help. Some statistic, disclosure, a tip sheet for fixing up the house or staging the house or something, and execute on the promise that you made. Number 5, if she showed the house to a potential buyer, she had one, and the homeowner had indicated that they were willing to pay a commission. Number 6, offer to host an open house. Number 7, offer to advertise the home on our website. Okay, and agree to take the calls directly. Number 8, drop off another flyer or some type of personalized information showing them some homes that have sold in the area recently while their home was still sitting on the market, right? If her timing was right, and often it was, the homeowners are starting to tire of handling the job themselves, and she'd also often take the listing without even approaching for a direct consultation, okay? So again, they're gonna work with the person that's the most consistent and persistent and the most helpful, okay? Page 24. Tony, read that quote for me, please. Do you have it in front of you?
I do. People don't succeed because they naturally do what they like or what works immediately. They succeed because they don't give up. Some guy named Gary Keller.
Some guy named Gary Keller. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about that line?
I love that line
Absolutely
because that's
true.
my daughter. That's what I tell her every day. She's very persistent. I'm very persistent. So it makes me feel good that that's something Gary Keller would say.
Yep, 100%. Many agents make the mistake of not following up. Our research shows that 50% of agents will not follow up after the first week. The persistent real estate agent is the one who will get the business. Okay, you guys see this graph falling off. At the beginning, everyone calls them. And just like most things in this business, the agent thinks they're going to get the results right away, and that ain't going to happen usually. It comes from the people that are consistent over time. Okay, so week 2, fewer people are calling. Week 3, even fewer people are calling. By week 4, there ain't hardly anybody calling. You know why? Because it takes a system to know when to call them. Okay, and many agents don't bother to make a system. A system could be as simple as every Monday at 10 o'clock, I call all the FSBOs that I am currently courting. And I've taught this before. I ask the same question. Okay, here are the questions. Let's see if I was going to talk about this a little later. Yeah, here's some questions. We'll touch on this a bit later, but I'll give them to you right now. Hey, this is Bill. Venus is, we've met a couple of times talking about 123 Hill Street. Hey, Venus, is that property still available? I know probably a busy weekend of action. Is it still available?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. So, Venus, how many offers did you get this week?
Am I supposed to answer that?
What? Yeah, keep going with me.
Yeah, okay.
Say 0.
I've received 5 offers on this property this week.
5 offers. Okay, so are you currently under contract?
Not as of yet.
Okay, are you negotiating those offers? Are they pretty good?
Yes, they are.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so keep me in the loop if there's anything that I can do. Okay, there's probably a lot of stuff in there that you might not understand. So please be careful because I know you want to do this by yourself. Okay, so I'll call you in a couple of days and see if everything's going smoothly. Okay, let's pretend you said, no, we didn't get any offers. Say, no, I didn't get any offers, please.
No, I haven't received any offers as of yet.
Okay, gosh, so how there's that 2 weeks on the market, no offers yet, right?
Right.
Gosh, man. What about showings? Have you had any showings?
I've had 1 showing.
1 showing. Wow, wow. Okay, so I'm embellishing this a little bit. I'm bringing out the pain. So Venus, was that 1 showing a qualified buyer or was that a real estate agent? How many of those showings were real estate agents?
That was a real estate agent.
So you've been on the market for 2 weeks, no offers, 1 showing, and it happened to be a real estate agent. So we haven't had a single ready, willing, and able buyer come into your home yet. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes, sir.
Boy. Okay. Well, like I said, what's the one thing I can do for you this week to help you?
Bring me some
Bring me
buyers.
some ready, willing, and able buyers.
Okay. So your marketing efforts aren't really creating the traffic you were expecting, right?
Not at the moment.
All right, I get you. Well, I know how important it is for you to sell the home yourself. So I want you to know that I'm here. If there's anything I can do to help you, you let me know, please. And I'll call you at 10 a.m. next Monday. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
10 a.m. next Monday, I'm going to call and I'm going to ask the exact same questions. And after a week or 2 of this nonsense, she's going to
I
tie her
heard
down
3, Bill. I
and
heard 3.
say,
What was-
hold
I
on,
mean,
Nicole. Hold on. After a week or 2, she's going to be like, yes, no offers. Yes, it was an agent. Come on and sign the paperwork. Okay. I'm telling you, they will wear down. Okay. Now, as I forget who said it earlier, a lot of these homes are selling. Okay, great. That's fine. It was an opportunity. They were able to do it by themselves. Wonderful. But hopefully, was there an opportunity for you to help them as a buyer locally or help them as a referral buyer or something like that? Like, we're not going to be able to get every one of them. And it's true. A lot of FSBOs are selling. But some people aren't doing the right marketing or their home's badly priced or it's not in the right shape or whatever, and therefore they're not winning. And so if they're not winning, you want to make sure to remind them that they're not winning and then be the solution to their problem. Make sense? All right, we're going to go into a lot more detail about that here in a second. I want to talk about barriers to approaching these for sale by owners, okay? Gary Keller shares that he had a fear of rejection, okay? Yet his fear of rejection was not as strong as his fear of failure. Meaning his fear of failure superseded his fear of rejection because he had a strong desire to grow a business and do whatever it took to be successful. Does that make sense? So you need to ask yourself, what's stronger? Is it my fear of stepping out of my comfort zone and making a call? Or is it my fear of failing? Am I prepared? I'm going to get pretty tough with y'all. What am I more afraid of? Telling my kids that they can't have the trip to Disney World because I didn't sell enough homes? Or maybe it's telling the kids that they can't go to their private school anymore. Or maybe it's telling the kids that they can't afford the summer camp anymore because you didn't do enough sales. What's worse? The stress that occurs from having a big business or the stress that occurs from being broke? What's worse? Right? So I'm going to ask each and every one of you privately, to, or publicly, but to think about this privately, is what are you more afraid of? Right? What stress are you more willing to tolerate? The stress of creating a big business and having a lot of opportunity? Or the stress of telling yourself some lie that you can't do this? Any thoughts? Anyone crying?
I'm gonna tell you something, Bill.
One's
I
ever
don't think I
died from making a
necessarily have
phone
a
call.
problem.
Venus, go first.
I don't think I necessarily have a problem with that. You know, it's just the structuring and making sure I know what I'm doing. I'm pretty confident in what I can deliver as far as customer service and marketing and things like that. It's just orchestrating my presentations and my listing presentation and my brokerage agreements.
Yep, we're learning that every day in coaching, and those materials are available, you know, in KW Connect and what do you
Yeah,
call it?
this morning, kw.com with Robin, I saw all the presentations and also that was really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go back to mindset for a second. The challenge of for calling for sale by owners and expired listings is basically what you just said, Venus. It's to have confidence. Oh, sorry, Ebony, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just stating that nobody ever dies from making a phone call. You
That's
say that
right.
all the time. And it's
I've
just
never
like, well,
seen it.
be it.
Nicole, what
So
I cut you off too, I think.
Yeah, it was about the questions. I wanted to see, I'm actually printing something out. The one question was the main one, is the property still available? And then you kind of like gave the pain points of, you know, oh man, still, you know what I
So
mean?
is it still available?
And what is it? What is the one thing I could do to help you? What was the third one? I didn't hear that.
So let me those are out of order slightly. So the first is it still available?
Mm-hmm.
Second is how many offers did you get?
Mm-hmm.
Not did you get any offers? How many did you get?
Right, because you
I
want to
want
let them
them to
know you
say
should have got
0.
multiple. Right.
Oh, 0. Oh, must be painful. Oh, 0? Okay, so 0 offers. How many showings did you have? Not did you have any showings, but how many showings did you have? And how many of those were with real estate agents who have no intention of buying your home?
Right.
Okay. All right, cool. Tony, keep watching the chat for me, okay? Anything I need to be studying? All right, just let me know. All right, page 26, setting realistic expectations. Top agents have to make a lot of calls to get an appointment. Keep track of the numbers of calls you make and the numbers of conversations you have and the number of appointments you set. That will give you a realistic expectation of the number of calls you need to make in order to reach your business goals. Class dismissed. Just kidding. Do y'all hear that? You have to make calls. You have to have conversations. I wish it was different. I really do. You have to make contacts. The name of the game is contacts. Okay. What you have to do is make enough calls to be able to determine your conversion rates, and then you'll know how many calls you have to make on average to achieve your goals. That's what we do each and every day in PC, right? We're tracking our activities. Okay. Don't let rejection get you down. Don't worry when you don't get an appointment. It's not that the homeowner doesn't like you. The person is just not interested in what you're offering at the present moment. Top agents get rejected every single day. So will you. Realize that this is a numbers game and you will likely hear plenty of no's before you get to a yes. But if you stick with it, you will get there. If you stick with it, you will get there. Remember that for sale by owners choose to sell their home on their own, so their first reaction may very well be, I don't need you. What you know, and they don't know, is that it is difficult to sell a home. And in the first few weeks, they will be frustrated and much more anxious to make a sale. That's why you keep in touch. So you'll be there when they are ready to do business. We're going to come from contribution. We want to focus on what you can do to make the seller's life easier. Remember, our job is to solve their problem. Okay? I think I'm slightly ahead on this. Oh, slightly behind actually. Okay, you're going to offer your expertise. We're going to come from contribution, page 27. What can I help you with today? What is your expertise? It is knowledge of the market. It is tips for selling a home, tips for staging. Sample services that you can offer are, why is this taking so long to? Sample services are host an open house, provide pointers on how to host an open house, do a market analysis, create a virtual tour for the home. That's applicable for market of the moment, right? Do a financial pre-qualification on potential buyers. So you can say, hey, typically when a buyer is working with a real estate agent, the real estate agent's the one that's making sure that the buyer is pre-qualified. Since you're being the real estate agent here, what is your system for pre-qualifying prospects? Would you like me to introduce you to a lender? Right? We haven't even discussed the safety issues, right? Not only do we not know if these people are qualified, but we don't even know if they're, people that shouldn't be going into houses, okay? Okay, steps for working with for sale by owners. Now we're getting into the real logistics, okay? Hang tight. Okay, prepare. Know what you're going to say. Okay, Betty Bessemer in Houston, Texas, page 29, knows what to say when she works with for sale by owners and expired listings. She knows the most common objections and how to answer them. Because she knows what to say, Betty is good at filtering prospects on her initial phone call. She sets appointments with only the best leads. And if Betty wants to have someone as a customer, she converts the lead to a customer 85 to 90% of the time when she has her consultation approach or consultation appointment. In addition to knowing what to say, you must be prepared to answer common objections and questions. Okay, that is the study of scripts, you guys. If you intend to create a stream of business from for sale by owners or expired listings, you must master what to say. If you don't know what to say, you're not going to sound, it's not going to be strategic, it's not going to be intentional. You are going to show your lack of professionalism, right? And you're going to get stumped over and over and over again. Just take the time to learn what to say, okay? We're going to prepare what materials to give them. Again, page 29. Most top agents prepare information that is useful to home sellers that helps establish their expertise. Having something of value with your name on it keeps you foremost in the seller's mind. An example of that would be top 10 mistakes a home seller could make. Before you ask where to find this, it is in the appendix here, which is at the back of your material. I'm not trying to be a smartass here, but there's also something called Google. Okay, if you don't know where to find something, ask the computer. Okay, in bold, they gave out a document called 47 Ways to Sell Your Home Faster, right? 15 home staging tips, right? 10 ways to make curb appeal and improve your curb appeal, right? Just Google the stuff and create a nice little modern graphic. You could do it in designs. There's probably already a bunch of stuff already designed for you in designs where you can deliver it as if it's some revolutionary concept, yet it's just being helpful, okay? Staging tips. Agents typically have some kind of home selling pointers on their website or in printed form, okay? There's seller and buyer guides in command that explain the process, right? Any of this stuff is helpful, right? 10 ways to protect yourself when selling the home alone, right? So it's tips on security stuff or pre-qualification or paperwork or liability issues, these kind of things. Basically, it's a bunch of stuff that should scare them into hiring a real agent. Okay? Any questions, thoughts, complaints so far? Okay. Page 31, the for sale by owner package or packet. It's a good idea to have a FSBO packet in print form that you can deliver to home sellers at or just after your first contact. It's kind of akin to a pre-listing package, okay? You should have your FSBO packet with you at all times. When you drive by a FSBO, you'll be prepared to drop it off. Follow up later with a call. Some contents of that could be testimonials, a logo folder, a cover sheet, a sign-in sheet. A lot of that material is in this appendix here. I mean, are they even keeping track of who comes into the homes? I mean, particularly with COVID and you know, contact tracing and all that stuff. Hey, I want you to sign in so that, God forbid, there's some type of sickness or something, and we have to alert the people that might have been in contact with people. We want to know how to reach you. Would you fill that? You know, do you have a way of following up with these people, or even having them sign in? Here's a free sign-in sheet, right? Service provider list. You know, who, if you got a painting issue, can you call a painter? If you got a roofing issue, do you have a roofer that you refer to? If you have a landscaping person or landscaping challenge, you need the grass cut, who do you use? You need a reference for my electrician if you get electrical issue, whatever, right? Security tips, litigation checklist. Again, everything's in the appendix. Preparing your home for sale, some disclosures. Homeowners Association disclosure. What's special about you, right? So you can have a specific one for expireds or for sale by owners that has relevant information to you and how you would help them achieve their goal. Okay, page 32, creating an 8x8 customized for sale by owners. What is your system for communicating with them after the first call? Now, here's what I want to make sure you guys hear loud and clear. If you don't want to build a business in part with for sale by owners, you probably don't need a for sale by owner packet. Don't spend a ton of time preparing to execute a system that you're not going to execute. Okay, either be all in on this or don't do it. Make sense?
Right.
Okay, there are 4 types of buyers. This is going to come up in one of the scripts later. Okay, when they're talking about for sale by owners, they refer to 4 types of buyers. I want you to think through these with me, okay? This is not in the paperwork. There is the motivated and in a hurry, okay? These are qualified buyers that basically are in town for a couple of days and they need to find a home, okay? This is part of what I would call the problem presentation. A motivated and in a hurry buyer, they are not driving up and down random streets looking for sale by owners. They are working with a professional real estate agent that's going to make the process super simple and easy for them. And the professional buyer's agent is going to be searching on the MLS for listings. They're not going to find for sale by owners in large numbers, right? So are those going to be candidates for the seller? Probably not. Okay, probably not. Then you have the other group, which is motivated and not in a hurry. So they're well qualified, yet they're taking their time. They're maybe a little bit more nervous. They're skittish. They're afraid of being taken advantage of. They're nervous about just about everything you can be nervous about. Do you think they're going to be working alone with an unrepresented seller, or do you think they're going to enlist the services of a buyer's agent, which happens to be free? Who has an answer for me? Come on. You know the answer.
They're probably working on their own if they're not in a hurry.
If you're skittish about everything, you're going to go at it by yourself, or if you know that you can get a free agent, you're going to go sign up with one.
Grab an agent.
They're gonna get an agent.
Exactly, which means they ain't going to for sale by owners most likely. Okay, the third type of buyer, pry on for sale by owners. Those are the investors. Those are very sophisticated borrowers and buyers really. Okay, they seek out the for sale by owners because for sale by owners largely don't even know what they own and largely will be taken advantage of by a savvy person on the other end. I shouldn't use the word savvy. I would use the word somebody who may be interested in taking advantage of them. Okay. And then the fourth type of buyer is what they called in bold the looky-loos. The looky-loos are the people that want to buy a home. They want to work with an agent generally, yet they no agents will work with them because they're not qualified. Okay, so they spend all their time looking for sale by owners because they can't find any realtors to help them because they're not a good candidate. Okay, because they're not able to purchase the home. They're not pre-qualified. So which ones are attracted to FSBOs? 2. The investor who's going to take advantage of them, likely, maybe not like intentionally, but they're probably not going to get, they're not going to get representation, right? They're not going to be protected as well as they could. And the fourth type is the looky-loos that can't buy the place anyway. Make sense?
Right.
So it's not looking so good for a for sale by owner. Make sense? So at the top of 33, it talks about like postcard strategies or email or text strategies about how to deliver value and check-in. So it's not just like a weekly call. There could be like some postcards or some text drips or something like that, or some items of value drop off. Here's a blank copy of a disclosure statement, or hey, here's 10 steps to staging your home. Hey, I was thinking about you. I was in the area, brought a buyer by, that kind of stuff. Okay, number 4, set your goals. Start by tracking your numbers. Eventually, you'll be able to work your numbers backward from the number of transactions you want to have in a year, which will inform how many listing agreements you need. And before that, the number of appointments and the number of calls you need to make. Be realistic about the number of calls you will need to make. With experience and skill, you'll be able to make fewer calls and get the number of appointments you want. If you are not tracking your numbers, you will not be able to identify what parts of the business you need to improve on. Okay. Next, finding the listings. Page 34. My recommendation is a service. Rather than pulling for sale by owners from Zillow and these kind of things, I mean, you can use that, but my recommendation is to have a service, right? Like Vulcan 7 or something like that, if you're going to get intentional about this. Okay. Gene Rivers says he wastes no time. He knocks on the door or calls the owner while he's in front of the house. He passes by and he stops the car, just walks right up. Hey, I'm Gene Rivers. I'm with Keller Williams. I'm a professional agent in the area. I work with a lot of buyers looking for sellers, and I work with sellers looking for their buyers. How can I help you today? Well, I'm trying to sell my house by myself. Great. How's it going? Have you had some showings? How many showings have you had? How many offers have you had? What can I do to help you today? Oh, can I take a look? Right? You're just simply asking the questions. Simply asking the questions. How would you like to be helped today? Okay, remember, this is about data acquisition. So I'm on to page 36 right now, taking action. Okay, now that you've prepared to call for sale by owners, there are 3 things you must do. You must make the contact, you must record what happens, and then you got to go on the appointment. Okay, so there's a good chance if you're going to make a business out of this, that you're going to have a lot of FSBOs that you're going to be courting simultaneously. So what is your system for maintaining all of that data? Okay, so what I used to do, and I never really made a huge, I never was a big FSBO guy or expired guy, but I was doing the same concepts and systems that I used for just other prospects you could use for FSBOs and expireds. So I had a sheet of paper like this. Okay, I know you can do all this in Command. I'm not telling you not to do that. I'm just telling you to keep it simple if you can, okay? I had their name, their number, their email, their property address, and all the conversations and all the data that I'd acquired. And then every week, I'd go to my stack of papers and I'd just thumb through them one by one and make my calls. If I found out their dog's name was Sparky, I wrote it down. If I found out their wife's name was Mary, I wrote it down. If I found out they wanted to move to Seattle, I wrote it down. This is about gathering information, okay? Particularly on their motivation, okay? Scripts. Page 36. Start calling and remember a few pointers. As Diana Kokoska always reminds us, come from contribution and ask how you can help them. Offer helpful information. Ask questions and assess their concerns and needs. Learn as much as you can about their situation and be the answer to their problem. Is there anyone on this call that does not have a script practice partner?
I don't.
Okay. Venus, for you, you need to go into the PC group or into the Roswell Facebook group or into the Georgia Legacy Facebook group and say, I'm serious about my business. I want a script practice partner. Who wants to script practice with me? Okay.
Well, first I got to get some time to get script practicing on my schedule. Then when I do that, I will look into that. Thank you so much.
Yep. Well, script practice on your schedule is probably going to be indicative of when you have an opening. So you instead get intentional about it. Say, I want to script practice from 8 to 8:30 on Tuesdays. Who wants to join me, or who wants to be my partner?
Me and Greta talked about it earlier, but yeah, I like I said, I don't. My issue is not really talking to people. I can get a script once I see it one good time or say it. I already have the few you already say a lot, but it's just having like the material. I want to get the material together.
Yeah,
That is,
and it's about saying it literally thousands and thousands and thousands of times. Okay. All right, Donna, I'm on page 37. Are you in front of your material?
Yes, I am.
Okay, 37. I want to run this script with you, okay? I'm the agent, you're the FSBO. Hey, my name is Bill Linkwald. I'm a real estate agent in Roswell with Keller Williams, and I was wondering, is your house still available?
Hi, Bill. Yeah, actually, it is still available.
Great. So I work with a lot of buyers and sellers in the area, so I was just wondering, how can I help you?
Well, I can't really think of anything right now, Bill, but thank you for your call.
Yeah, of course. So Donna, if I could bring you an offer that you would net the amount of money that you feel you must net in order to sell your home, would you consider that offer?
Well, would the offer include a commission?
So if I would bring the offer, yes, it would. And my question is really, if the offer nets you the amount of money that you need to net, would you consider the offer?
I guess so. I guess I would.
Well, to be sure, Donna, that your home will fit my buyer's needs, when would be a good time to come by and take a look? Would Friday at 2 be okay, or would Sunday at 3 be better?
Well, do you have someone in mind? Do you have a buyer in mind, Bill?
Well, Donna, I'm not sure, and I really can't tell until I see your home. You see, I preview homes for my buyers, and I will only take them to houses I know will meet their needs and their wants. So until I see a house, I don't know if it would be appropriate for anyone. I don't know if it will be appropriate for anyone I'm working with. I like to be familiar with everything that's on the market so I can provide the best service to my customers, right? So would you like me to put your home on the list of properties that I show my buyer?
Yeah, I guess that sounds okay.
Terrific. When's a good time for me to come over? Boom, boom, right? Here's an alternative one. All right, let's keep going, Donna. I work with a lot of buyers. This is about creating a win-win scenario, okay? Donna, I work with a lot of buyers and sellers in the area, and I'm wondering how might I be able to help you? Actually, pause real fast. Is that salesy?
No.
Okay, we're coming from contribution. We're not hurting anyone. We're not being aggressive. We're simply saying, how can I help you? They've got a problem. I want to know what their problem is and how they feel about it so I can determine if I want to be the one to solve it or not. Okay, so Donna, I work with a lot of buyers and sellers in this area, and I'm wondering, how might I be able to help you?
Why would you want to do that? I mean, we're selling our house ourselves.
So I respect that you're selling your house yourself, and I think there are some win-win opportunities for both of us. Number one, I might be able to find a buyer for you because I work with so many buyers in the area. Secondly, I know quite a few people who would probably come and look at, second, I know that quite a few people will probably come to look at your house. And I'd be interested in getting the names and phone numbers of those that come to look that don't put an offer in on your property. I'd be interested, or in fact, I offer rewards to people who give me, who make those connections for me for buyers. And last, if you don't sell, maybe we'd have an opportunity to work together to get your home sold. That makes sense, doesn't it?
yeah.
That sounds like I might be interested.
Fantastic. When is a good time for me to come over and see your home? Right? Today at 3 or tomorrow at 4, that kind of thing. Okay, we don't pay people for closings, but we do reward people for referrals, do we not?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here's a few extra questions. I'm on page 39. I would memorize these questions so that you can pull them out of your back pocket anytime you need them. Page 39. So tell me, why are you selling your home? Or why are you selling your house? Where are you moving to? Do you need assistance with the purchase of that home? May I help you find a qualified agent to assist you with your home search in Seattle? When do you need to be there? What happens if you don't sell your house by then? Are you prepared to drop your price if the house doesn't sell before you need to move? I'm just curious, how did you determine your sales price? What are you doing to market your home? How long have you lived in your house? What has to happen before you'll consider hiring a great agent like me to sell your house? When do you plan on interviewing agents for the job of selling your house? I would like to apply for the job of selling your house. Are you familiar with the powerful methods that I use to sell homes? If you decide to hire a real estate agent, who's the agent that you'll choose? Who would you use? How would you choose that agent, and what do you expect the agent to do for you? Are you familiar with the powerful techniques I use to get homes sold? No. When's a good time for me to come by for about 15 or 20 minutes and show you? Okay. Next page, page 40. It would really benefit you to let me do a no obligation, in-depth market evaluation and show you what I can do to help you get top dollar in this market. Would today be better or tomorrow? What is a good time for us to get together? Sounds like we should meet, right? If you don't get the appointment, hey, Donna, I really appreciate your time. I'd like to stay in touch with you to see if you have any questions and to find out how things are going. Would that be okay? When delivering a FSBO packet, hello, Donna. I'm Bill with Keller Williams. I happen to be thinking of you, and I thought I'd drop this off. I think it'll help you in the sale of your home because it contains information about security, right? Thank you, thank you. Hey, how did things go this week? Is there anything else I can do to help you? I don't like to think, how did things go this week? Ask the pointed questions that we went over earlier. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to call. Okay, page 41. I love this one. This is a great language technique here. Listen closely. We're not paying a commission. Let me ask you this. Are you trying to save money on the commission, or is it your goal to get as much money as possible on the sale of the home? You see what I did there?
Mm-hmm.
I made them believe that those two things aren't connected. Y'all follow that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's play that one real fast. So Donna, let me ask you, are you trying to save on the commission? And you're coming from curiosity, you're creating some doubt, right? Upswings. Are you trying to save on the commission, or is it your goal to get as much money as possible on the sale of your home?
Absolutely, to make more money. That's our goal, of course.
So Mrs. Patrick, if I could bring you an offer that nets you the amount of money you feel you must net in order to sell your home, you would at least consider that offer, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I suppose I would.
Okay, great. Sounds like we should meet. Okay.
Like
Remember,
we should
guys,
meet.
Keller Offers. Keller Offers is free to be certified. I can have anyone an offer in 10 minutes if I want. Not 10 minutes. What is it? A day? Okay. Would you consider an offer? Well, it's going to be low. Hey, has anyone else brought you an offer? Right? Hey, this is what this particular buyer who needs to make a profit is willing to buy your home for. You don't like this price? Great. I don't think you should sell it for $350. According to my research, it's worth about $400. Let's meet, and I'll walk you through how that can net you more money. Right? How many of those guaranteed home sale things that Mark Spain puts out there do you think he does? Very few. It's to get a listing appointment. Hey, you don't like the price A? Let me show you what price B is. But you got to work with me, full commission on that one. See what I'm saying? Okay. These scripts just continue. They're fantastic. Okay. Not paying a commission. I understand that, and I would still like to see your property. If your home is a good fit for one of my buyers, I'd like to be able to let them know about it. And if I could bring you an offer that allows you to net the amount of money you need to make, you'd consider an offer, right? Here's an interesting one. This is a little bit more direct, okay? So let me ask you a question. Why are you selling the home yourself? Donna, keep going with me if you don't mind.
We think we can make a little more money if we sell it ourselves.
Great. So you want to save the commission, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay, great. And why would a buyer look at for sale by owners?
Because we've got a great house.
Right, right, of course. But what else? What's their other motivation for approaching a for sale by owner?
They probably think they're gonna save a little money too.
Right. And so I was just wondering, how will both of you save on one commission?
We'd each get half the savings.
Okay, great. So you'd be satisfied with saving 3%. And if they negotiate a little bit better than you, you'll save 2%. Would you be okay with that?
I suppose.
Okay, so we're doing all this work just to save 2%.
Well, my neighbor said it wasn't that hard.
Okay, so how's it going so far?
Well, I guess it's a little harder than we thought.
Right. Yeah, it definitely is. So it's just something to think about. You know, I know you need to think about the money you're spending on advertising and things like that. And what you're saving gets down to maybe 1%. So you're saying you're going to do all this work just to save 1% when you could hire a realtor to do all of it and take away the hassle. Is this hassle really worth 1%?
Yeah, I never thought of it like that.
Right. So some of the other ones coming are some of the ones we've described earlier about the showings being with real estate agents and not having a real buyer. You know, when FSBO asks what he needs to do, you have a reason to do a listing presentation. When they start inquiring about, oh, well, maybe you could show me that. Boom, time for the appointment. Right? Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions at the moment?
Nope.
Okay, page 43 and 44 are talking about the 4 types of buyers that I covered earlier. What's the website for Keller Offers? Somebody, if you could pop that in the, that'd be wonderful. The certification is free. I think they offer it once or twice a week. And then you have the entire marketing toolbox, scripts and all that, so that you can begin to use that to initiate conversations or to include that in your package. If somebody could post that in the comments, that'd be awesome. Okay. When the FSBO asks for help, that's when you have the best shot at securing the appointment. Okay. Leaving, let's see. I'm on page 45 in the middle. Try again. Agents are divided about whether or not to leave messages. Thank you, Tony. Those who do leave messages say they want to be straightforward and communicate their desire to help. Because we know persistence is important, it's a good idea to call 3 times for 3 days before giving up. Some agents try 3 times in the morning for 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 p.m., or at noon, then leave a message. Other agents wait and call on another day. Leaving a message on your 3rd call is a way to making one more attempt at establishing contact. Hello, my name is Bill with Keller Williams Realty. I have a few questions about your house. Please call me at 123 or at 1234567. That's pretty vague, isn't it? Sounds like somebody that might be interested, right? That's better than calling and saying, hey, I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty, and I don't have a buyer, but I'm going to kind of pretend like I do, and I'm going to waste your time a little bit. Would you please call me back at 1234567? That's not getting a return phone call. Hey, this is Bill Linkwald with Keller Williams. I've got a couple questions for you, and I might actually be able to present you with an offer if you're interested. 1234567. Look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks. That's going to get the call backs. Make sense? Okay. The goal is to get them on the phone. Because the second you get them on the phone, you can find out where their pain point is, make it a little bit more painful, and then get the appointment. Okay. Recording what happens. You need to remind yourself what's happening with all these files, because you need to have a lot of files. Make sense? Files meaning clients or prospects, right? We need to be courting a lot of people all at once, because all these FSBOs we're not going to list them all. Make sense? Okay, Page 46 talks about CMAs and the 24 things you need to know before you're thinking about selling your home yourself. Cute little marketing ideas for, choose me for all your real estate needs, with a pack of gum or a lollipop that says, don't be a sucker when it comes to potential buyer demands, right? Courtney Yates sends Starbucks gift cards or dinner certificates when she receives names of prospects from for sale by owners. She says dinner certificates are so popular that she has no problem getting contact information from FSBOs who, for clients who have not, did not put an offer on that house. Okay. All right, it looks like we're moving towards expired listings. Who has some questions about FSBOs?
I have a question, Bill.
Sure.
How do you, I guess, help them without them taking all of your advice and not using you as an agent?
Well, that's a great point. So remember, before they sign anything with you, you're their customer, or they are your customer, meaning you are only supposed to do ministerial tasks, which we all know are, for lack of a better way to put it, things they could do themselves, right? That's using their hands and their feet, not their brain. You're not supposed to give them pricing advice or, speak about contingencies and strategy and all this stuff. They get that when they pay for it. But to put together a little slide about how to stage their home that you found off the internet, it's not a big deal. Make sense? Hello? You guys with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, my computer is on mute, so I'm writing, and then, when you're talking, I have to take it off mute. That's why I can't sometimes respond as fast as
It's
normal.
okay. It's okay. Hang on one second. Okay. Let's move on to expired and withdrawn listings. I'm on page 47. Prospecting for expired listings happens in a shorter time frame than prospecting for sale by owners. Gene Rivers says they usually make a decision about who to list with in 24 to 48 hours once their listing expires. Okay, there's an advantage to being one of the first people to call, because the first person that gets the call hasn't already gotten called 50 times that day. And they're not annoyed at the fact that their listing came off the market and they're getting clobbered with calls. Okay, just a side note, there should be, I know there's services out there that can find people's cell phone numbers. I get it. But don't make it so easy for your competition to find your seller's information. Okay, on the listing paperwork, that should not have any information of your seller. Okay, that's just my personal opinion. It should say call agent, and the number should be your cell phone. Do not put your name, your client's name and number on the listing paperwork. Make sense?
Yes.
You're letting other people have control. All right. Don't forget, we need to respect the do not call list. Okay. Step 1, some similar steps that we just learned before, knowing what to say. You're about to hear some scripts for expired listings. You can Google those. You can look in KW Command. There's script books for 3612.3. There's script books that we all know are in productivity coaching, and there's script books on KW Command in the KW, what is it called? KW University has literally hundreds of script books, okay? Knowing what to say. This is the same principle you use with your prospect, with any prospecting technique, okay? You need to know what you're trying to say to set an appointment so your conversation can be directed towards reaching that goal. Have you ever not known exactly what to say? So when you were talking to a prospect or talking to a date or whatever, you weren't actually listening, you were just thinking about what you were going to say next? Has that ever happened to anyone?
Yes.
Do you
Long time ago.
do you think there was a possibility that that person actually knew you weren't listening?
Yes.
Yep.
How do you think that made that other person feel?
Uninterested in working with you?
Are you currently married to that person right now?
No.
right? So if you were unfocused on the date, you probably didn't get to marry the person, right? Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
A mistake like that could be very expensive in our business, right?
Right.
You botch a presentation because you're thinking about what you're going to say instead of having already internalized the answers to all the things so you can listen really, really closely. You could not get the piece of business and that could cost you 10 grand. That could be the difference between private school and not private school. That could mean the difference between one investment property or 10. That could be the difference between, okay, we're going to have to go down to one car for the family instead of two. See what I'm saying? Every day we have to work on refining our skill. Okay, preparing materials to share with them. An expired listing packet, I'm on page 48, includes a lot of the same stuff before. A pre-listing package is basically your primary tool, and you would edit it slightly for FSBOs and edit it slightly again for expired listings with relevant information for the situation they find themselves in. So facts about expired listings, mission statement, personal introduction, getting to know your realtor, testimonials, etc. You probably want to have an 8x8 strategy there too. An 8x8 is 8 touches, generally speaking over 8 weeks, but you could also be 8 touches over 8 touches over 4 weeks or 8 touches over 1 week. It could be 8 touches over 1 day. I mean, it could be anything as long as it's relevant and helpful to that consumer. Okay, set your goals. I'm at the bottom of 49. Just the same as calling FSBOs. You'll need to know your numbers and how many calls you need to make to set your target number of appointments, listing agreements, and sales. For every 10 conversations, 1 to 3 appointments is a good goal. I actually think that's probably pretty aggressive. Of the 10 people you talk with, okay, 1 to 2 of them will be unrealistic about price. What do we think about people that are unrealistic about price? Grossly over unrealistic about price. Is that a good opportunity for you or no?
Oh, we can't.
No.
Okay,
Probably
great.
not.
Good. 2 to 4 people will stay with the same agent, as crazy as that sounds. Okay. If you're on the phone with those people, again, you're creating doubt. Gosh, same agent. Okay, so let me ask you, what's the agent going to do this time that they didn't do last time? Right? I didn't say, what's the agent going to do this time that they didn't do last time? There's no dramatics to that. There's no language patterns to that. There's no downswings to that. Let me ask you, or upswings. There's no, or let me ask you, what is your agent going to do this time to sell the home that they didn't do last time? Right? 1 to 2 will be people who you don't want to do business with. This might be somebody that starts yelling and screaming and cussing at you when you call. This is done. Have a nice life. Right? And 1 to 3 will set an appointment with you. Okay. Here's a good, Tony, you a sports guy?
I am.
All right. You like baseball, right?
I do.
All right. Let me ask you a question. If you are a 300 hitter and you have 10 at bats, how many hits will you have? Actually, let me rephrase that. If you're a 300 hitter and you have 100 at bats, how many hits are you going to have?
Oh, you're going to get 30.
Exactly. So a 300 hitter is pretty much nowadays like a Hall of Famer, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if you're a Hall of Famer and you have 100 at bats, you'll have 30 hits, right?
On average.
Yes. What if I'm a 200 hitter, which is, you know what that's called? The Mendoza line.
Mendoza line.
You know Mendoza's a mega agent with Keller Williams out of Phoenix, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, he is. So Mendoza line is basically the, that's like you're about to go to the minors if you're not already in the minors. Okay.
Yeah, unless you're a shortstop.
If I'm a 200 hitter, but I have 1,000 at bats, how many hits am I going to?
You get 200.
What's bigger, 200 or 30?
200 is bigger than 30, so it's a numbers game.
It's a
Gotta
number.
get more at bats.
Okay, this business is all about at bats, guys. All about at bats. The more conversations and at-bats you have, the more confident you'll be in what to say, the better attuned to the marketplace the more knowledge of the marketplace you'll have, and the more opportunities you'll have to do paperwork. Is there anybody that disagrees with me on that?
No.
Nope.
Okay. If there's any message that I want you to take away from today, it's that you need to have 3 hours of lead generation in your schedule, and it's all about at-bats. Okay. So you need to think to yourself, when you wake up, how am I going to get the maximum number of at-bats and still spend all the time I want to spend outside of the real estate business today? God, family, business. When I'm doing business, I'm focused entirely on at-bats.
Amen to that.
When I'm not doing business, I'm not doing business. You will not find me on the phone. Make sense? Okay. Again, page 50. Thank you, Tony, for walking me through that. How to find expired listings. Again, I would go to a vendor. I'd go to a third-party vendor like RedX or Vulcan 7 or LandVoice or something like that. You can also pull up hot sheets, what's called hot sheets. Those are, you can pull up a report, for example, each day that says like, show me the homes that expired in area 13, or show me the homes, priced between 200 and 400 or whatever. And you can see what's going on and call them right away. So there's a number of different ways to find them. Obviously, check the do not call list. At that point, you are definitely soliciting business, okay? I could potentially make an argument for circle prospecting not being soliciting business, but if you call an expired listing, you are soliciting business. Please check the do not call list, okay? Do not prepare to think about preparing. We take action. Make the calls, okay? Organize your information on each listing. So I might have 10 different stacks of paper that has all the relevant information I need on that particular file. But you've got to store the information somewhere, okay? Again, what do we do in making contact? We make contacts, we record what happens, and we go to the house. Okay, I'm on page 51. Let's do a little bit of scripting. Nicole, are you in front of the paperwork by chance?
I am. Let me get off mute.
All right, page 51.
Mm-hmm.
All right, making contact. I'll be the agent, you be the expired, okay? Hey, I'm looking for Nicole. Is she available?
Who's calling?
Hey, Nicole, this is Bill Linkwald. I'm with Keller Williams Realty, and I'm hoping to, am I catching you at a good time?
Hey, Bill, you kind of did, but what can I do for you?
Awesome. So I wanted to check to see if you know that your home is no longer on the market.
I didn't know that.
Well, my computer shows that it's not on the market any longer, and since I sell a lot of homes in your area, I'm calling to see when you're planning on interviewing the best agent for the job of getting your home sold. Okay, here's another way of setting the appointment. Okay, we'll get some more questions here in a second. Hey, I'm Bill Linkwald. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams, and I'm just calling to ask, are you still interested in selling your home?
Well, yes, I am.
Okay, that like skipped a couple steps because what we did is we didn't say, are you going to relist your home? What you're basically asking is, does the motivation still exist? Right? So she says yes. So I'd like to get you a package of valuable information on selling your home because I assume you have one question in mind, and that's, why isn't my home sold yet? And I think I can answer that for you in about 15 to 20 minutes. I would need to see and tour the home. When's a good time to stop by? Okay. Okay, here's another one. Hello, this is Bill Linkwald with Keller Williams Realty. I noticed that your home is no longer listed on the MLS, and one of my specialties is working with properties that should have sold, but that didn't. In your opinion, what's the reason your home didn't sell? Right? You're like so curious. So, gosh, like, what's the reason your home didn't sell? Go ahead.
I'm not sure.
So with my sellers, I use a 14-step marketing plan to sell their homes. I'd like to show you how I get top dollar in today's market. What would be a good time for me to stop by and give you this information? Would today at 2 or tomorrow at 3 be better for you? Right? Again, before you ask me what the 14-step marketing plan is, I believe that it is in the appendix here. And if you were to Google 14 steps to selling your home, you'd probably find a pretty graphic. If you were to Google 15 steps to selling your home, you'd probably find a different pretty graphic. If you were to say, what is the 128 steps to selling your home? I bet somebody's created that too. Just go online and find it. Okay. Okay, middle of 52. Reasons why homes don't sell. Generally, homes don't sell for one of 4 reasons: price, marketing, condition, or the professional handling of the sale of your house. How did you feel your home was priced? How do you feel like your home was marketed? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about the condition of your home and the way it appears to potential buyers? By the way, if they don't say a 10, let's say they sell, let's say an 8, what would have to happen to bring it to a 10? And when they answer that question, that is basically the problems with the house, some of which may be able to be solved. Steep driveway, or some of them may be able to be solved. Doesn't have granite countertops, dirty carpet, clogged gutters, old lighting, blah, blah, blah. Some of it may not be able to be solved, which is stuff like steep driveway, bad school district, main road, old roof, these kind of things, right? Actually, old roof could be dealt with. But you can't move the home to a different school district, right? So these are things that if the A-plus properties are selling for 250, if the 10s are selling for 250, then the 8s don't sell for 250. Y'all follow that? Okay. What did your previous agent do that you liked? Great question, because there's probably something they liked. And when they answer that, they're going to tell you how to serve them. So let me ask you, what did your previous agent do that you didn't like? I hated that they called me first thing in the morning. I hated that they interrupted me at church on Sunday. I really didn't like the fact that they always seem to be making the decisions for me instead of asking me what I wanted, right? Again, you're finding out how to serve the consumer, okay? So here's some examples of follow-up. So, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. This is Bill Linkwald with Keller Williams Realty. Did I catch you at a good time? Hey, did you receive the information that I dropped off? Have you had a chance to look at it? The reason I'm calling is to find out if you have any questions or if you're interested in still continuing to move, right? This is Bill Linkwald, Keller Williams. Just real quickly following up to see how things are going. Is there anything I can do to help you? Is there anything that I can do to help you move closer to your son and his family, right? Here's some additional questions. If you had sold your home, where were you going to move? How soon did you have to be there? Why are you moving? Why do you think your home did not sell? How many showings did you have and what feedback did you get from your agent? I didn't get any feedback from your agent. Wonderful. Well, my team provides feedback twice a week on Tuesday and Friday. Would that be okay with you, or would you like more? Right? I don't care if that's the first person you've ever provided feedback for systematically on Tuesday and Friday. They want feedback 15 times a week. That's what they get. Okay. How many showings did you have and what feedback did you get from your agent? What kind of marketing strategies were used to sell your home? How many offers did you get? What happened? Was the price ever adjusted? Did you get status reports from your agent on other homes that were selling? Right? Here's an objection. I'm relisting with the agent. Hey, just a quick question. I'm curious. I love that line. I'm curious. I'm curious. Right? What makes you think that your home will sell now when it didn't sell in the past 3 months? Well, Bill, that's awful rude of you to ask. Hey, I'm a full-time real estate agent. My goal is to help people hit their goals and build wealth through real estate. I help my sellers sell and I help my buyers buy. It just, the only reason why I asked like that is because you haven't hit your goal. And that pains me. Okay. So I'm curious, what makes you think that your home is going to sell now when it didn't sell in the last 3 months? What specifically are you planning to do? Right? Why don't you increase your chance for success and interview a great agent like myself to make sure you're hiring the best real estate agent for the job of selling your home? Wouldn't it be a great idea to get a second opinion as to why your home didn't sell and find out how you might be able to gain exposure to a whole nother set of buyers? Right? Like, let's say, for example, they spent their whole time at $305,000. Okay. Bad price. They should be at three on the dot. This $299 stuff, I never understood why people do that. They're not buying a t-shirt. They're buying a house. Okay. And they're searching on portals that are not, 200 to 299, they're 200 to 300 or 250 to 300. Be right on the nose and you'll get the people below and above. Make sense? It could be a simple strategy like that that caused them not to sell. Okay. I'm not interested in selling anymore. Mrs. Patrick, can I just ask, what would you have done if your house had sold? Where did you want to be? Right? And when did you want to be there by? Well, I wanted to be in Memphis so I could be near my family. So, gosh, so now you're here in Atlanta and not near your family, right? Is moving to, how important is moving to Memphis still for you? It's really important. I just haven't been able to sell my house. Well, it sounds like we should meet. Make sense? You got to understand where their motivation is so you can confirm that it still exists, make it a tiny bit more painful, and then come in and swoop in like you're going to save the day. Follow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Here's another one. Again, page 54. I'm not interested in selling anymore. Do you mind if I ask why you decided not to sell? Basically, that you're saying, prove to me that your motivation still doesn't exist. Okay. I'm frustrated with all the agents calling me. Mrs. Patrick, I can appreciate that. And I know it seems like you're getting an awful lot of calls, and I understand how frustrating that could be, particularly when you haven't been able to get the results you want. Right? While you were in the market, I was able to get 3 homes sold, and I've been able to sell 4 homes listed with other agents. Would you like to know how I got all those homes sold? When would be a good time for us to meet? Now, don't lie to them. Like, if you didn't have the sales, don't tell them you had the sales. But the idea is like, can we build up enough, not a t-shirt, but yeah. Can we build a big enough business where we can start talking about our successes, right? And it's not for puffery's sake. It's to show them that there actually are transactions happening. They just weren't theirs, right? Same concept about leaving the message. Don't leave a message with a 5-minute diatribe about your entire listing presentation. Say, I got some questions for you, call me. Okay. All right, we're going to put it all together in a second. What ahas have we had thus far? I'm on page 57. What do we learn? What do we like? What do we not like? Talk to me.
Learn about data sources, which is good. Also learned about basically, I guess not learn about, but saw demonstrated kind of call flow. How one of the things with scripts is, you learn a script, you learn another script, you learn another script, but it's with practice, I guess, that you start to take parts from scripts to fit what's actually going on a call. So you got to know the scripts first, I guess, and then you start to figure which parts work appropriately and what directions to branch into. Branching, I guess, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I like that comment, Tony. So it's basically the scripts will show you kind of the framework for the conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, the end result is an appointment.
Right.
Everything, your goal up until that moment is to gather up enough information to be valuable, right? To create some value for them, right? I want to identify what the problem is, and then I want to help them get clarity on the fact that I'm here to solve their problem.
Right.
I won't be able to do any of that unless I know why they're making the decisions they're making. So I must understand their motivation, right? So where were you, had your home sold, where were you planning to go, right? Mrs. FSBO, why is this home available? Where are you planning on moving to? California, oh great. So what's in California? What's unique about California? California is where all my grandkids are. Wonderful. How many grandkids do you have? Oh, I have 7 grandkids. So all 7 of them are in California. How exciting, right? That's awesome. We're in California. Oh, San Diego. Oh, wonderful. San Diego, what a pretty place. Okay, great. And then later on in the conversation, if you decide to list, and they decide to list with you, and you're struggling on the price, and you're fighting over the price, you say, you know, hey, you're gonna need to lower the price lower than 500 because 500 is not working, right? You say, well, I don't want to lower the price lower than 500. Mr. Gates, what I think I might be hearing is it's more important for you to get 500 for the home than to hang out with your 7 grandkids in San Diego. Am I understanding that correctly? Ooh, that would hurt. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It hurt because it's the truth. I don't want to list your house. I want to sell it. Okay.
So that's why it's important to make sure what's important to them, getting that information.
That's right. A great consultation has virtually no puffery. A great consultation is just a series of strategically asked questions in the appropriate order and allowing them to talk as much as they want. And then when you feel it's necessary to move the conversation along, you ask another question. Make sense? Okay, anyone else want to add any comments?
Well, I like the expired package checklist and the FSBO one because it didn't dawn upon me to treat them as I would treat a regular buyer or a regular someone listed their home, which they are, you know. But
That's a good point.
it was just the epiphany, like, oh, have this, so that helps.
Beautiful. Anything else?
Hey, Bill, when you contact a lot of expires, say you start out with 100, I guess logistically, in the beginning, I was putting a lot in my database, and that didn't seem to be work because a lot of these were not Mets now because they were in the area I wanted, the price, the neighborhood I was familiar with. So logistically, I think I've heard on the rivers and people just say you got to call them like, you could have to call them 8 times maybe. So I was just wondering whether just keep them on paper, like off of Kohl's or something like that, or Vulcan, just print out a sheet.
If you ask a bunch of experienced agents, you'll probably get a bunch of answers for that question. Here's what I would do is I'd almost have like almost like a pre-database. So like I'm probably not gonna like open up an opportunity for every like cold expired lead I get. What I'm probably gonna do is just have a bunch of papers in front of me, and then once a week I have a commitment to update my database. And the people that I've formed in courtship with, I'll put them in the database. But if I've left 10 messages for you and you haven't gotten back to me yet, I'm not giving up on you necessarily. I'm just not going to spend 20 minutes putting you into the database. You see what I'm saying?
I do. I think that's really the answer because I quit doing them all the database because it's not there. I don't need a lot of not Mets. You need a lot of Mets. So
right.
I like these sheets.
It's like it's a pre-database, if you will. It's like I've told many of you guys this before. I used to have if I had this page and you were my prospect, I'd have your name, email, telephone number. I'd have all the record of all the communication that we had, all the things I did for you, all the things that I showed you, all the things that I learned about your goals and your family and all that. Okay. And then when I started showing people, I'd include, I'd paper clip it together with the homes that I showed them or the comps that I shared with them or whatever, right? And the second I felt like I was gonna get paid on that one, I gave them a manila folder, right? And so all the people that I had a feeling like I was gonna get paid on, I had a separate folder for. So when they called or I called them, all the material was right there. Then I had a folder of all the people who hadn't earned a folder yet, right? So I wasn't quite sure I was going to get paid on you, but I definitely wasn't letting anything slip through the cracks, right? Because I was leading with revenue. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I can't hear you, Nicole.
They went into the computer.
Talk a little louder.
I said, once you get
Now you're on mute.
You lost her. Yeah.
Can't hear you,
Can you hear
Nicole.
me?
Now I can.
Sorry about that. I said that once you got the listing agreement, that's when they went into your command or your CRM at that point?
Probably with me, I'd do it even a little earlier. It's like it's up to you, but I would probably put them in a little bit before that. I would probably put them in once I started a dialogue with them. I'd probably put them in because it's almost like I know that I'm going to beat every other agent. Like I will communicate with you more than any other agent will, and this listing is mine if I want it. And I know I'm really good at what I do. I understand the market. I know how to negotiate. I really believe in helping people. I come from contribution. I've got the right mindset. I've got the right skill set. This business is mine. You're going in my database because I'm going to get you.
Okay.
That makes sense? All right, let me read you guys
Thank you.
a little bit. Okay, I'm on page 58. Your success in the discipline of lead generation is dependent on your daily habit of action. By focusing your actions, you will propel yourself forward to 36 transactions or more per year. Use the action planning worksheet on the following page to record numbers from both your current lead generation program and your future goals. Then determine what actions you will take to close the gap between your current state and your goals. These are your focused actions. When specifying them, consider adopting a lead generation activities that complement each other and suit your behavioral style and interests. If you hate FSBOs, quit calling FSBOs. Okay? Just make sure that you can generate enough appointments however else you want to do it. Mastering at least 3 reliable lead generation activities up front that you will be able to rely on in your business. We've been doing that with the GPS lately. Okay, tracking your results with each activity and continuing to add new activities over time. Okay, that's this page right here. I'm going to assign this for homework. Okay, this is page 59. 59 is your homework. 3-hour habit. Time blocking 3 hours every workday to generate leads. By adding these items to your calendar, you are time blocking. Time blocking means that you always know what your most important job is every day that you commit to getting it done. It means that you are going to do what you must do, which is generating leads. You're going to call people and meet people. Or prepare marketing materials, network, host open houses, prepare seminars, and it means that whichever of these activities you decide to focus your efforts on, you're going to get really good at them over time. Time on task beats talent every time. That's kind of akin to what Tony and I were just saying. If Tony is more talented than me, he's a 300 hitter rather than a 200 hitter, yet I spend more time, meaning I have more at bats, I'm going to beat him every time. Make sense? I'm going to encourage you guys to examine your calendaring system. How are you respecting and making priority around time? If I looked at your calendar, would I know that you're a real estate agent? Would I even be able to find your calendar?
Yes, you
Right?
can. My calendar is together now. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Guys, time is all we got. Page 60, what is it, 62 is a calendar, right? Remember, the first thing that's supposed to go in your calendar is your off time. When are you not going to be working? The next thing that goes into your calendar is your planning time. Do you guys have a special time each week? I tend to do this for about an hour on Sunday night usually, where I look at my activities over the last week. I look at how I performed. I looked at what I did well. I looked at what I did poorly. I looked at whether I'm ahead of my goal or on track or not on track, behind my goal. And I say to myself, hell, if I want to win, do I need to make any adjustments this upcoming week? Have I had enough appointments? Have I made enough contacts? Am I struggling with my scripts? What do I need to work on this week to be a great agent? I've said many times, winning is two things in my opinion. This is my soapbox and not in the material, okay? I'll even stop sharing the screen so you can see me a little bit bigger. Winning is two things. When you go to bed every night, you gotta ask yourself, am I a better realtor than when I woke up this morning? Meaning, do I have more skill, more practice, more knowledge? Do I understand the market better? Am I a better negotiator? How have I improved my skill today? And secondly, are there new people in my database or in my kind of world, in my network, that I did not have access to this morning, or that I didn't know this morning, or that they didn't know me this morning? So am I learning every day, and am I growing every day? If you're doing those two things, you're probably on track. Okay, but this is gonna be a little harsh. And I don't mean this and directed at anybody, but if you treat this business like a hobby, you'll be lucky if it pays you like a hobby. If you come into work every day and you're ready to work and you treat it like a job, and you take it super seriously, and you take advantage of 1/10 of that resources that Keller Williams offers, you will make so much money that you don't even know what to do with it. Okay? It's all up to you guys though. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Is anybody prepared to share with us? Oh, let me point out just one more thing before we end. On page 63 through 77, it's some examples of the FSBO and expired packet, some letters, some tips on litigation checklist, preparing your home for sale, getting to know your realtors, service providers, security tips, sign-in page. It's a lot of the resources that we discussed earlier. Okay, somebody tell me something they learned today that they're going to immediately put into their business.
I'm going to look at the data sources you talked about, Bullsyn, 7, RedX, and LandVoice, and pick one to be a data source.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Beautiful.
try to put together those packets so that I won't be just empty-handed with a bag of goodies and nothing of use.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
me too, putting together a packet.
all right, beautiful. Can I give you some advice?
Sure.
Let me look who's in the room. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume that all of you have some project that needs to get done that's been on the list for a while, it just hadn't gotten done. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay, so I want you to think through that list of projects, and I want you to put some project time on your calendar, even if it's like half an hour a week or something. Okay, and identify what project is most important. Maybe it's fine-tuning your buyer presentation. Maybe it's fine-tuning your listing presentation. Maybe it's fine-tuning your pre-list packet, or getting your scripts all organized and like in your workspace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And set a deadline. I'm Don, I'm not picking on you by any means, but you said you're going to put together this packet. By when? By when? You're going to do it by
12/31.
next year? Right? Make a commitment. Teach your brain you're capable of making a commitment, and then follow through with it, and then be proud that you made it happen. And then once that project's done, find another project to work on. Don't know much about smart plans? Put in your calendar that you're going to learn about smart plans. Okay? You got to get better every single day.
I do.
All right, you guys, it is 3:30. I want to be super respectful of everyone's time. Is there any questions of burning desire that you have before I send you off to grow your businesses?
Good job.
No.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, you are very welcome.
Thanks.
As you know, I'm in the office almost every day, pretty much every day. So if you need me, just come on back or text or call me or WhatsApp me or whatever. And I'm more than happy to help any way that I can.
Oh wait, one question.
Also, go ahead.
Now, I just wanted to ask, what time do they meet in the office to do the FSBOs and expires?
So it's technically not like a it's not like a formal group or class or anything. We do have a lot of probably have about 8 or 10 people that I'm trying to be careful about PC here, but the vast majority of them, or all of them really, are in productivity coaching. And they're coming in the morning. Some are here as early as 8, some are here all day long. There's no like start or stop time. If you feel that you would benefit from being around a group of like-minded people, which I believe is true, just come anytime you want, and there'll be several people here who are probably more than welcome, including myself, if I'm available to show you some tools and to show you some scripts and to walk you through everything.
I think that's more helpful to me because I'm more hands-on than trying to figure things out on my own.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Anyone else?
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks for the info. Appreciate it,
Bill.
Bill.
You
Good
guys have
stuff.
a wonderful day. Have a good weekend. Happy
Okay,
You
holidays.
guys all do the same.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.